Hey out there. Hey everybody. This is Angela with MixNSingle, and we are here today with Onney The CEO, Tony Massey with Tony Massey Speaks, and we're glad to have you guys back with us again today. We have an exciting show for you guys. This is the hard and wet truth.
Yes.
Sex for singles. We'll be talking about HIV and AIDS talk with Hearts at UT Health, hosted by that segment will be with with Adrienne Thomas. We also have Grow Into Me sex coach, Brittany Sherman. She will be discussing some things with you guys. I wanted to thank you guys for tuning in again another week, and we will start with Tony Massey.
Yes, this is your boy Tony Massey. Tony Massey Speaks on Instagram. I got a question for the ladies, since I'm surrounded by all of these. Yeah, we just gonna get into it since we talking sex for singles tonight,
Come on
it's
now.
grown folks business,
Sex
right?
for singles.
Okay. So I want to introduce a segment I'm gonna call Ready or Not.
Ready or not?
Ready
Okay.
or not. And okay, so when it comes to new relationships,
Okay.
when, ladies, do you know you're ready? Now, I asked that question to y'all because as a man, I'm always ready. Okay. I'm ready day one. As soon as I walk up to you and say
ready
hello.
for sex?
What?
Yeah,
That's the only reason I
okay,
spoke to you. Yes.
I can honestly say,
Okay.
are you asking me when I'm ready,
When are you ready?
or when do I know that I want to have sex with a person?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. So yeah, so when do you know?
I know from the moment we begin conversation.
You immediately.
Immediately.
You know you about to
When I walk
But
up
we
on
know
you.
that. Excuse my French. Can I use?
You can say whatever you like.
right, can I
You have
use
free reign.
We definitely know that you're fuckable when we see you within
Really?
the first 30
Absolutely.
seconds.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
We're gonna look you up and down.
So
Like,
you
okay,
know.
he's fuckable.
Absolutely.
right out the
No.
gate.
Most definitely.
So-
I mean, okay, you have to think about it. You have to at least, at minimum, make me want to fuck you.
Okay.
At minimum.
But okay, what?
Well, not. Well,
Not necessarily make
I just
me.
think not make me want to.
I mean,
but
be attractive enough that I think, hey, I would do that.
Yeah, he can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
get
the
it.
exact thought that goes through my head.
Okay. So what's the transition from he can get it to he gon' get it?
well,
Now
a
that-
lot can
yeah,
change after he opens his mouth.
Exactly. This is true.
It's all about his finesse, and his confidence says a lot.
Right.
Okay.
So you can find a man very attractive, and then he lacks confidence, and it's just like letting the air out of a balloon. It's like
Exactly.
Wow, y'all all said it the same
Yeah.
time.
Because that feeling, that's a feeling you just
And,
feel like,
and I think that, and I
It's
actually believe
offensive.
that goes both ways
Yeah.
for men and women. I mean, how many women have you approached that were beautiful that lacked self-esteem, and
Right.
they just didn't seem, the sex appeal wasn't
Right.
the same.
Exactly.
You know?
I can't vouch for that. Now, the balloon is my ability to stay with you afterwards. I mean, I'm still want to have sex with you.
Okay.
But I'm not sure I want to have a relationship with you.
Oh.
But I mean, I myself have talked
Well, I think that goes both ways too.
I mean,
'Cause,
Yeah,
I
that-
mean,
I know immediately, and it's not that I won't have sex with you. I'm like you. It's how much will I deal with you afterwards?
Afterwards.
Because you might be able to be a jump off, but that's about it.
jump off?
About it. Yeah.
I mean, my little feelings are hurt. What are y'all talking about?
Now,
Yeah,
let me.
women
Now,
have-
I didn't think women did that.
Kind
I
of
mean, I'm not
We
most
do
women,
that.
but that's what I do.
Yeah.
Let
we have
me
to.
ask this.
Okay.
So, what do men? I know a lot of women want this question answered. Sex on the first date.
Okay, here's the thing about
Do you lose respect for her
yes.
after that?
Yes.
Really?
And here's why. I happen to be a very attractive brother with a lot of things going on, okay? But there's nothing about me that I believe is so crucial that you need to give it to me on the first night. And so in my mind, this is what you do. You give it to everybody on the first night.
Well, that's so you're gonna judge her off of your assumptions.
Right, because
Absolutely.
couldn't you be two
But that's
consenting
you said
adults?
assumptions like that's right. Absolutely.
Right.
That's not fair.
Couldn't be two consenting adults that happen to share great chemistry, and you make an adult decision that this is something that I want to do because it's something I want to do?
And that's cool, but if you can't show restraint, then I'm putting you in a different category in my mind.
So how am I supposed to feel about the man that takes the cookie? Because I might just be setting him up. I might just want bump some, sausage, and
I mean,
after I get what I want, I might be done.
I'll
I'm
turn
just
down cookies.
hypothetically speaking.
Okay, so here's the thing. You're not going to turn it down, but if she does give it to you, now you're going to judge her. So in turn, you are really enabling the thing you have a problem with.
Absolutely.
So you're the problem. Because if it was such an issue.
It's like a Jedi mind
Right,
trick.
because if it was such an issue, then you would have the restraint enough to say, I respect you enough, I'm not going to sleep
Now,
with you.
there are
No,
women that
let's
I've
do the
met.
whole room.
There are women that I've met who I like you so much,
We're
I don't
live
want to have
on
sex with you.
on the main page.
I don't want to ruin. Like, I see something in you beyond sex, so I really don't want to have sex because if I know if I do, I'm done. It's over.
Okay.
All right,
Well, I know a lot of guys who feel like, that's really not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
That they feel like the woman is mature enough to make a conscious decision to say, I'm an adult and this is what I want.
Right.
She just knows what she wants. Now, what they choose to do after that,
Right.
is the same as what you're saying. You're saying, well, are you keeping my attention even after?
Right.
And so that's where it comes to, and everybody has their own will and want, of course, right? But some guys are okay with a first night.
I mean, I'm
a
good
first
with
night.
it. It's just in my mind,
You've
I put you
already
in a
put you in the-
category.
put you
Now,
in the
does that
category.
mean you're not going to make it out that category? Not necessarily. It just means that in my mind,
But
I've already put
she
you
has
into
to
a
fight
category.
out of a category that she may have not even qualified to be in the first place because you have assumptions.
Then you should have showed restraint. I'm just saying.
Okay, well, the great answer to that, the great deal is that you're not speaking for 100%.
No, I'm not. I'm
men.
speaking for Tony
So,
Massey.
that
That's
is
it.
awesome.
That's it. That's it.
Absolutely.
Because I do know some men that have met a woman on the first night and they
And
are
that's-
still married.
And
And they live happily ever after. It doesn't happen as often these days, but because, people are into microwave relationships now. Speaking of microwave relationships, okay, you're two consenting adults and you do get busy on the first night, okay? And you like each other, so you keep on doing it for a little while, and then all of a sudden you lose interest and you ghost.
Oh, my goodness.
What-
I hate it.
Do you after you've been spending time with someone for, dating,
Right.
do you feel like you owe them an explanation for why you suddenly stopped talking to them, or are people just disposable?
I'm gonna tell you right now, the only people I owe are the people that send bills to my house. Everybody else, I don't owe you anything. I just feel that way. Like, I don't really have a problem with ghosting because to me, I'm giving you an answer, and that answer is I'm not interested anymore.
Right.
So I feel like thinking that I owe you something is erroneous thinking.
So basically, no response is actually
it's
the
a
response.
definitive
Well, let me tell
response.
you, I've
Yeah.
been on both sides of that coin. I've ghosted and I've been ghosted. And I've made a decision to ghost because the confrontation piece of
Yes.
it is so much, sometimes it's not worth the conversation.
Right.
But I've been ghosted, and I've kind of wanted some closure, but then I thought, you've done this to people before, you know how this goes. So whatever their reasoning is, and it could be a number of reasons. They probably were trying or just coming out of another relationship. They probably just wanted what they wanted at that moment. You weren't what they thought. You could have said a certain thing in the middle of sex that just totally turned them off. I mean, it's a lot of different
Like
things.
that, I love you.
Right, I personally
Too soon during sex, be like, whoa,
Whispering in my ear, I
I
love
didn't
you.
mean to
No,
do
that's
that.
just
That wasn't
just
what I
wrong.
was trying to do.
Right.
I personally
Right.
don't believe ghosting is okay. I believe you're an adult, right? And if you took the time to kind of falter whatever relationship and build whatever relationship you have with a person, it's a courtesy. You don't owe it to them, but it's a courtesy to say, hey,
This
we're
is
going to
not
go our
working for
separate ways.
me.
Now, if you're crazy, that's something different. Now, if I'm walking away from a crazy person that's toxic, ghost
I would
ghost
ghost.
ghost at your own leisure. But if it's just two adults and you're just not feeling it no more, what is it going to hurt you to have that conversation?
Say,
Because
I'm just not
because
interested
because
in
what
that
you're saying
way.
is you're going to avoid confrontation. But
Right.
if you avoid confrontation, how do you know how to
It
deal with
depends
And me
on
as
the
a woman, I have
personality.
so much respect for a man that can be honest with me and say, you know what, I think you're beautiful, but I'm just not that into you.
Right.
And they can potentially be a good friend. I just feel that way because they were honest, as opposed to making me feel or leaving me to believe that there's something more there than it is. Just put it on the table.
I'm of the notion
because-
that there's always a signal before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a
Always
sign
something.
that he's only looking for this certain thing,
Thing,
and
yeah.
you have to say within yourself, you know, this is all this is, and you know, no matter how he reacts, this is what it is.
That's what it
but
is.
we get married
Already in our mind.
like
Yes.
5 minutes into the situation.
the date.
and we can't
At
do
the date,
that.
be like,
Practice.
oh, I want to have his children.
Practicing,
Yes.
practicing by how my name
Exactly.
looking to
Right.
Stop it,
pen in my
ladies.
hand
Please
right
stop
now.
it.
Yeah, but you know, we can't
Stop
do
it.
that as women, and I don't know why we're wired that way. However, you know, we have to learn how to disconnect that, and it probably would keep us from heartache.
Heartache, right.
See, I ghost, and then I want to get in. I want to get into our guest. I want to start talking to our guest.
Although she's
Yes,
already in the conversation.
deep in
Yeah,
it.
she's definitely in a conversation.
I ghost for the same reason you do. I want to avoid confrontation because I don't want to answer the question why, right? And I don't want someone sitting here trying to convince me that
Otherwise.
you know,
That
I'm
you're
good
wrong.
for you. You know, this is gonna work. No, I don't like you. I'm ready to move on. So, yeah,
So, moving right on.
moving on.
Okay.
I'm excited about this.
Now, grow into me, sex coach Brittany Sherman.
Hey, Brittany. Hey, Brittany.
Yeah, so she's going to let us know a little bit more about
Brittany.
sexual awareness and sexual health. And so I want you to, because we didn't give you the proper introduction coming in, I just want you to briefly introduce yourself and tell us how being educated, you know, in your sexual health have improved your sexual experiences overall. So go ahead, start, you know, whenever you're ready.
I'm Brittany Sherman. I'm a sex coach. I own Grow Into Me Sex Coaching. I've been a sex coach for going on 2 years now. I enjoy thoroughly what I do. I enjoy helping people have a better sex life. That's my whole goal, and how can I help you have a better sex life? The journey into becoming a sex coach actually makes you unpack a lot of your own bags. So I had to look at a lot of my own biases, a lot of my own shortcomings, because you have to be walking the walk before you can tell somebody, hey, you know, let's face a little vulnerability. Then I had to deal with myself and say, well, how do you deal with vulnerability? So as a result of that, before I started sex coaching, casual sex was okay for me. I could have casual sex, no problem, go on by my business. But once I went through the process of getting certified, the experience of having sex became way more important to me. I stopped being like, I'm a stubborn person. So I went through this phase where I'm like, maybe it's just the person I'm having, you know, my little buddies with, and it's not working out. So let me try somebody else. And so I went through this kind of like stubbornness, trying like it just can't be that I can't have casual sex anymore. Like that's what I was holding on to. Like I have to be able to still do that. But as a result of my learning, it's like, nah, you really can't. You just don't enjoy it anymore. It's not for you. You don't get to make the bonds that's necessary to really get to have a fantastic sexual experience.
Okay.
Now I've always had great sex, but now I have amazing sex.
Okay.
And it's because I take
amazing sex.
Shout out amazing sex.
I do have
Hashtag amazing
Hashtag
sex.
amazing sex. Yes, let
I
it
mean, I
trend.
do, but that's because I'm more mindful, and I take the experience more seriously. Sex coaching, going through the certification taught me to slow down. You enjoy sex if you just stop rushing, just slow down, just slow down. Everything you're doing, just slow it down. Just from the courtship to the intimacy outside the bedroom, just slow down and
That
enjoy it.
foreplay is so everything.
It's everything. And foreplay is so much more than just, hey, what are we doing before we have sex?
Right.
Because foreplay starts from the time you get up. Especially, let's say you live with a mate. It starts from the time you get up.
Right.
Yeah.
The touch.
Yeah. Are you saying good morning? Are you being mindful of your mate? Did you maybe just make them something to drink?
Leave little notes in the lunchbox.
Yeah,
Send
just-
those text messages while they at work.
Now
You
y'all
know,
know how
those
men want to be
risque.
woke up in the mornings.
Hey,
Ain't no
that
little
good
note.
morning. That good morning.
But
Ain't
that's
nothing
an
wrong with
assumption. Not every man wants to be woke up like that. There's
know?
days I cannot wake my boo up like that because he's like, yo, I'm asleep, leave me the hell alone.
Okay.
So that's not for every man. So you know,
I've never experienced that.
yeah,
but
Okay.
if a
I would've
person's
had to
not
have
a
a
morning
long
person,
Never had a complaint.
listen,
No,
but
I'm
listen,
meddling.
yeah. If a person's not a morning person, you might
Yeah.
be getting socked in the eye because that may not be for them because you know catch them when they up.
Right,
So you know, but I've really learned to just slow down and just enjoy sex from a different, from I guess a higher intellectual level
Okay.
versus just a physical level.
Okay.
I got a question. So you provide coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Do you provide more coaching for men, women, or couples? Is there a breakdown who needs your help more, or is there a certain group that you specialize in?
I prefer to work with couples. That's where my heart is for couples because I hate to see married couples. I hate to see a marriage fall apart for sex
Right.
because it's most of the time it's just a lack of communication and a lack of compromise. And hopefully I would be able to get you to a place where marriage is not breaking you or sex is not breaking your marriage apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with a lot of women. Men, I hate to say it, men are on their way of not being able to be my clients. I'm going to stop seeing men, I do believe, probably in 2019. Because it's a little creepy sometimes. I've had a couple creepy guys, and I'm just like,
Oh, did they like hit on you?
yeah, like
Oh,
yeah, and like like
They wanna try other
stalker-esque. I've had some,
Yeah.
like a guy who was kind of came off as a stalker, and I was like, I don't know if I want to see single males,
Wow.
Right.
because I mean, there are
Yeah.
male sex coaches that's probably fitting for you, but and women, I thoroughly enjoy working with young black women, but young women, because I'm starting to see a trend that black women don't know they have authority and they don't have voice and they don't know, they can't
Right.
set boundaries in sex and they can't say no and
In the bedroom.
yeah.
See, I find that interesting because I feel like black women, and I forgive the generalization, but you kind of embrace this idea of being strong and vocal and, you know, just very independent or whatever. So do you see
It's
that
a
not so
facade.
much in
It's what you. That's what they go out into the world with. That's how black women have to go into the world with that strength and that strong persona. But if you don't have the strength to say, "Hey, I just don't like what you're doing to me when we're having sex,"
Right.
where is your voice?
Right.
Because you can't speak up for yourself. It's great if you can speak up for others, but can you speak up for yourself? And I'm finding that a lot of my younger clients, especially my younger black female clients, just they don't have that. And I'm just like, well, wait, what point in your life did somebody take your voice from you?
Right.
Because now I have to go back with them. And to the point where they lost their voice. And let me get you over that hump and teach you, yes, you have authority. Yes,
Yeah.
you can say no.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you can walk away. And I have to teach my clients, like what I teach most of them is to reject the things you do not want and accept the things you do want. That's something very simple, and that's a simple principle to live by.
Right.
Because you're only taking in what you want and you're setting boundaries for yourself.
It's time to switch.
I love
It's
it.
time to switch
I
out.
love it.
I do
Okay,
have
well,
one question
ahead.
really quickly. How often are you able to help sexual assault victims? Like, are you reaching? Is that part of your audience? You're saying some people don't have a voice. Are those?
I have a current client who's she's been a victim of sexual assault. I haven't worked with many. She's my first client with sexual
Okay.
assault. There's a fine line with sexual assault victims because sex coaching is forward on.
Okay,
Your present
gotcha.
to the future.
Okay.
How can I work on your coaching? And therapy, the purpose of therapy is you're unpacking the pathological things that you need to deal
Right.
with. So there's a partnership.
Okay.
Because there are some things, like I have a client, you have to get a therapist. I can help you on the future, but you got to get a therapist because you need to unpack the things that are
Okay.
dealing with
Okay.
you.
Well, before we transition to our next guest, we want to know from you how the people that are watching, how can they contact you
Yeah.
to locate your services?
The women, because you ain't seeing no men. Fellas, you know.
Or
I mean,
taking couples, right? I still take couples.
No
Couples.
single men.
No
Just
single men.
No single men.
Especially if you're creepy.
Yeah, particularly if you're creepy. You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook under Grow Into Me, GROWINTOME, and Grow Into Me by BK. I do sell bedroom candy. I'm a bedroom candy consultant.
Bedroom candy.
I do sell bedroom candy.
Diabetes in the bedroom. I'm good with it.
And I have a website, growintome.com.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yes,
No
thank you.
We
problem.
really
That was
enjoyed
informative.
your input and
Thank
your
you.
conversation.
I'm so glad to be
we
here.
may have to have you back.
You definitely
Please
did.
To have
invite
some
me
other
back.
conversations.
Please, I get,
Okay.
the kinky classes.
All right. Well,
I'm teaching some classes at a this euphoric woman, and once a month I'm teaching some classes. This month we did BDSM,
okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
and next month we're doing intimacy. I'm excited.
Okay.
Again, thank you so much for
No
coming.
problem. I'm
you.
so glad
Appreciate
you
it.
guys have me.
We
Thank you.
appreciate your time, dear. Thank you.
All right.
All right, ladies. So we talking about sex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about sex.
Let's get funky
Wanna
with it.
swap out.
Literally, let's get funky with it.
I would prefer not.
Not. Whoa.
So I have a question.
Okay.
What do you do when you have a partner
Mm-hmm.
whose hygiene may not necessarily be up to par? They don't smell all that good in their intimate areas.
Well, I will say this. You tell them, go bathe. Because the worst thing is for a man that wants some sloppy toppy,
Yeah,
fellatio,
yeah.
Whatever you
and he
call
got
it.
musty balls. We're
See-
not doing that today.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Wash that.
Let me just
Um,
say, body odor and end of the day odor
Is a
like
totally
two
different
totally
things.
different
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So body odor is a consistent, pungent odor.
Yeah.
And yeah, we would have to have a conversation about your eating. What are you drinking?
Mm.
You know, is alcohol coming out of your pores?
Right.
Or do
Do you smoke?
and do you smoke? Even your bodily fluids have a different taste. And so, we have to discuss all of that.
Because
but
their diet does affect
Exactly.
all of that.
Yes.
You've been eating Timmy Chans? Cause okay, so
No,
I
but
I
yes.
personally, I go to the gym. And I think, especially if you're working out with a female partner, I think the gym can be a very intimate place. I mean, a lot of the things you
It
do in
is.
sex,
'Cause you're
with
sweating
sex,
and
yeah, you
body
grunting,
odor and-
weird positions, you're
Yeah.
exerting
Absolutely.
energy, and so I particularly like after the gym sex. I don't think a shower is not necessary.
It depends, though. See that
Like she said, your natural body
natural
odor
body natural
might be a little bit different than someone that's not clean and
Right.
or has something internally
or has something
going
internally
on.
going on.
Okay, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
You
There's
know?
a difference. And so I think, when a man comes home from work and if he's, he's overall typically clean and
Yeah.
whatnot, his after work
It's so
is
sexy.
sexy. Yeah, it is. And it's like,
Did I just
I guess it depends on what you.
Camera.
I guess it depends on what you do for a living. Like if you like,
it don't matter. I just think a man
guy.
coming in from work just
Smelling like-
sexy already, just
yeah.
by
and,
itself.
And you may not be the freshest.
Right.
You may not be the
doing it for
freshest,
work
but
is
you're
sexy.
not pungent. There's a difference,
Right.
I think.
So how do you have that conversation? Like
I would.
It would be really
say,
hard for me to
hey,
tell
we need
somebody-
talk about
No,
your
how would you
diet.
tell a woman that she smells?
like I did in the break, I would take the Teddy P. Let's take a shower.
That's so passive aggressive.
Shower together.
That's so passive aggressive. No, that hey, we need to have a conversation because it could be a number of things going on.
Yeah.
There could be, disease there. There could be, diet. It could be.
That hasn't happened to me. Has
I've-
that ever happened to anybody?
I've never encountered it with a partner, but I was in the medical field when I was in the Navy. And I worked I was a nurse, and I worked in the OBGYN field. And I know what you mean. There was actually a young lady who had toxic shock syndrome. Yeah. And she did have that very strong, pungent
Pungent.
Yeah.
smell.
Well, she could have had bacteria
Well, she did.
vaginosis.
She has a medical issue going on.
Yeah.
But she was married, and I wondered, even then, your husband didn't.
Probably
he
not.
ain't say nothing.
She probably, he knows his wife. I'm sure. So.
Right.
Yeah, but working in the health field, I've worked in the ER and
Yeah.
all kinds of places, and yeah, you just have to be kind.
Yeah.
But definitely pull them to the side, pull their coattail, and let them know, hey, or even purchase some things.
Well, when you since we're talking about hygiene, because sometimes you smell someone and they have a scent, the first thing you think is STD.
Right.
So I want to pose this: when do you have that talk? When do you have that conversation about the status? And do you wait until it's time, or do you do it when you first start dating, or do you wait till after you've had sex a couple times with a condom? And you want to go raw, like, when is the perfect time? I think that, I'm not going to lie, I'm a first date kind of, hey, what's your status? Your status. But it scares people off. But not saying that I just want to get down and dirty with you, but, I kind of want to know. But at the same time, people are so shunned for being transparent about their status, that they're afraid to be honest because they don't want you to treat them differently.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something like herpes that, has an on and off period, or, or AIDS. People are actually living with AIDS and HIV, and they look healthy, so there's no look anymore to what's healthy and what's not.
I've been in a situation where I met a guy, and very early on in our conversations, he was bold enough to say, I want to let you know ahead of time, I'm HIV positive. And this was years and years and years ago. And of course, back then, without knowledge or what have you, I just eradicated that situation.
Yeah.
But, some people it's hard for them out there. I have friends who live with HIV and AIDS or HIV, and, it's kind of hard for them to date and things like that. And it's about being kind. I keep going back to that because you never know who you're dealing with, whose mother or whose father or child or sister or brother, and it may be you.
Well, the stigma of STDs is so bad that, I feel like people who have an STD, whatever it is, they have this scarlet letter.
Yeah.
And we make jokes about it, and in movies you see jokes about it, and in the reality, half the times it's not a big deal, right? It's not something that's so huge that it should be a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it should be a conversation you have before sex.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to give people an opportunity to make an informed decision.
Absolutely.
And then also, like you said, I don't think HIV is the killer,
right,
that it once was. And I think a lot of us still have that in our heads that, oh, you're going to die. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
And I think women's health is killing more people than anything because, women don't necessarily check themselves, And so, speaking of that, I want to introduce our next guest.
Got an expert.
We have Adrienne Thomas, and I want you to tell us the name of your company because I don't want to mess it up.
It's Hearts at UT Health. Hearts is an acronym for HIV Education, Awareness, Referral, and Treatment for Substance Use Disorders.
Oh, okay.
Okay, awesome.
That's why it's Hearts.
Okay.
I know that. Okay, Adrienne.
Yes.
Well, Adrienne, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us today. We kind of want you to give the audience some information on the services that you guys provide and how this program came to be and how people can reach you, and what other services do you have to offer?
Okay. So Hearts at UT Health is a new program, and we're just completing our first year.
Okay.
It came about because Angela Heads, our program manager, she identified the serious nature of HIV in Houston.
Okay.
So right now in Houston, there is a big initiative to end HIV.
Okay.
And in order to do that, we have to end the stigma around HIV. So Hearts at UT Health, we focus primarily on the treatment of substance use disorders because people tend to make poor decisions when they're engaging in substance use that puts them at risk for contracting HIV and other STDs.
Okay.
So that is why we provide free substance use counseling along with free HIV testing and hepatitis C testing, which a lot of people are not aware of.
Okay. Well, they're going to know today.
Yes, they are.
So tell us how they can reach you.
Well, you can reach us by phone, which
Okay.
is the good old-fashioned way, 713-486-2736.
Okay.
Or you can reach us by email, which is uthearts@uth.tmc.edu. To keep it real short, just go ahead and hit me on Instagram through utheart6.
Okay. Okay.
So let me ask you, being that you are providing the free testing and everything like that, I know recently I saw some numbers coming out of Atlanta that, you know, they were like almost at epidemic level. What is the major contributor to passing HIV? I mean, obviously we know more about HIV, so why are we still seeing people contract HIV in 2019?
Yes, because people are continuing to have condomless sex.
Yeah.
So that's unprotected sex.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for African Americans, it is reaching epidemic status in the South. 8 of the 10 largest metropolitan areas with HIV are in the South. Houston is one of them.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So just to give you an idea, 99 Black Texans are living with HIV, which is why it's important for people to understand that just because a person is living with HIV does not mean that you can contract HIV
Right.
from having sex with them.
Really?
Correct.
Okay.
So that's why you're hearing a lot about Truvada, which is PrEP, which is something you can take to decrease the risk of being exposed to HIV. However, if you are HIV positive, it's important that you get into treatment because now there's U equals U, which is where undetectable means untransmittable.
Right.
So even if you're HIV positive, if your viral load is undetectable, you cannot transmit HIV.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
Wow.
Yes. So that's why we have to end the stigma because just because you have sex with a person that's HIV positive does not mean you're going to contract HIV.
Right.
Okay.
So obviously we're way past the 80s where, you know,
Right.
people thought you can look at someone and tell, you know, Peanut didn't lost a lot of weight, you know, he got that HIV, you know what I mean? So you can't tell that you have HIV just by looking at someone. So how do we increase testing? You know what I mean? How do like I've tested just for my life insurance. You know, I got an insurance policy, so I had to go get tested. I was negative, but outside of that, there was really no motivation for me to go get tested. So how do we increase that kind of awareness? Or what are you guys doing to do that?
Well, one of the things that we encourage people to do is if you're having sex with multiple partners, it's best to get tested every 3 months, 6 months, you know, every 3 to 6 months to make sure that you haven't contracted the virus. Because if you have, we can get you into care to get that viral load down. So one of the things that we have to promote amongst our community is that people get tested, and people are not getting tested like they should.
No,
And there's so many places in Houston that provide free HIV testing.
Okay. Well, I know in my family we lost a couple of really close family members to HIV early in the 80s, and then in the 90s I lost someone very dear to me, and my mother was an RN. She's passed away now, and so that was one of her things. She wanted us to make sure we got tested on a regular basis, and so I do 6 months to a year. I don't do 3 to 6 months, but I definitely do 6 months to a year. Routinely, my doctor knows I want a gamut. I need you to run it all. So, it's gonna take for us to stop shunning, you know, away from the conversation, and that's why I wanted to have you here today, because we really need to talk about it. And being MixNSingle, I really want to be sure that the women specifically in my group, that we have the power to protect ourselves, and we can't allow people to convince us, you know, oh, because she's pretty, or oh, because he smells good, you know, he can't possibly have, you know, because that's how we think, you know. Oh, look at her, she got kids and she's pretty and she's this, she can't possibly have HIV. That's not the case, you know, nowadays. And so we've dealt with this disease or this issue for so long. It's just, it amazes me how blind we turn our eyes to it. And I just felt the need to have this conversation with you. And so I appreciate you for coming and talking to us. And I'm definitely going to promote your movement as often as I can. I'm going to always call on you to be a part some way.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you coming out and talking with us. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
So we're encouraging everyone out there, get tested, know your status.
And Hearts at UT Health is offering free testing. Yes. You guys can find them on Instagram, UT Hearts 6, right? UT Hearts and 6. You can DM Adrienne, and she is the person running that page, I know for a fact.
Yes.
So she can set you up, and she's a really nice lady, and I'm so glad that I ran across her. Yes. And so we're going to partner up a lot. So y'all get ready. But thank you, Adrienne, for coming and hanging out with us today.
You're welcome. Anytime.
And thank you for what you're doing out there.
Yes.
Awesome.
Because in this microwave community of hooking up, we definitely need to be informed and just reminded of our health, and also to have resources at our fingertips that you can provide. So we appreciate that.
I'm going to make sure this program grows and grows and grows.
Yes, indeed.
So thank you so much again. So now we're at the segment, guys, where you get to just ask him or just ask her. Yes. I hope you guys have your questions ready. Are we live? Are we live in the group?
We're live everywhere.
We're live everywhere.
We're live everywhere. Okay. So
I don't even know where to look for.
Did anyone
first.
submit their questions to Tony or Onney?
I tell you guys what. Right now, if you're watching live, whatever platform you're watching on, drop a question.
Any question.
Any question. Hashtag ask her.
Ask her. Just ask her.
Just ask her. Or hashtag just ask him. And we'll catch the question and we'll answer it.
Yes.
So.
Any question. Any question.
Is there someone right there?
So how long do you wait before you don't judge her?
So Tiffany wants to know how long does okay, so you're talking about having sex on the first night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, if it's not the first night, then how long?
Lord, I don't want to talk about that 3-month rule.
No, I don't. You know what? I don't.
90-day rule.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't, because I'm telling you right now, I can act right for 90 days. No, I think it's not even about the time frame. It's more about, it's just that first night. And again, it's not so much that I'm judging as much as it is that I'm wondering, is this something you do all the time? So I find it very sexy feeling like I'm worth the wait. Right? Or like, this is, when I give this to you, it's going to be off the chain. You going to want to wait for this. But if you just, give it to me on the first night, I'm wondering, is it broken? Something wrong with it?
Or something wrong up here?
Or that? Why is it discounted? So
What's the same question? Let's see.
Anybody else get any
questions? I didn't get any questions from
Ask
me.
her.
Well, we need to ask
her. Anybody have any questions for Ask Her? Nothing's off limits.
When is it? Oh, they're asking you. What's the same question?
When is it?
When do you start judging him?
And that's the thing. I think it's a double standard because I don't judge him. Now, I can be honest to say that I had an encounter with someone after a long period of celibacy.
Okay.
And after that encounter, I felt like I took something precious from him.
Okay. Okay.
And I think that sometimes men don't realize how valuable they are and how valuable their seed
This is true.
Because I valued him so much, I wondered, did I take him too soon?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't judge him.
Yeah.
It's all about the chemistry, the approach, the person. You know what I'm saying? And the connection. It has a lot to do with it's so many facets in that I calculated making that decision. So I don't really pass judgment on a guy if he let me take him down.
So I think the thing with me is if we're connecting and there's chemistry and I decide that I want to do something, that's one thing. But if you're asking me, when we gone, when you gonna give me, that's when I'm turned off. I'm like, you should never have to ask.
So just let it happen naturally.
Just let it happen naturally. And it may be tomorrow, but just relax. Don't send me, dick pics, and don't ask me for nude pictures. Don't, none of that. Just relax.
Here's my only issue with that. I've seen, especially in the group, I've seen where women have said, some women have said, because I got to stop generalizing. Some women have said they want a man to be the man. They want him to be aggressive. They want him to be,
Absolutely.
confident and, go after what you want.
Yes,
Okay,
So-
there's a way to do that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
how you played it. It's just like being a
Absolutely.
chef. It's how you played it. Don't get in my inbox and the first thing when I'm excited because you inboxing me,
Right.
and the first thing when I open it up, it's a dick pic.
Right.
Or, hey, when you gonna let me whatever?
Yeah.
There's a way to play it. Ask me some questions. Get to know me.
Okay.
Then let the chemistry build on its
yeah.
own, but don't approach me initially with sexual innuendos, unless
Dick pics.
unless you and I have been flirting in that manner,
Right.
And that's kind of the basis of what we've been doing, flirting, because I have flirtuationships.
Right.
If we've been flirting in that manner, then that's what we're doing. I may never see you in person,
Yeah.
and I'm saying from the group or on Facebook or Instagram, but be just
Like seductive.
or something
Almost like
tactful.
Leave something to
to the
something to the
imagination.
I mean, we want that too. Some men,
I know, men
talk
are-
about women that put it all out there on social media and they don't have anything to say. They get a lot of likes, but they get no respect.
I'm saying I do not like receiving nude pictures in my inbox.
Speaking of that, I want to talk about that, the dick pic thing.
Oh
Do
my
dudes
God.
just walk around with dick pics in their phone like they
Yes.
ready to just shoot them out?
Yes,
just
they
shoot 'em out?
do. Yes.
I have
Because I never
never
asked for dick pics.
I have never taken a dick
Yes, they
pic
do.
in my life.
So I'm trying to figure out what kind of man walks around with dick
Yes.
pics in his phone of his own dick. Like,
And I think that's the problem. Like, could you imagine losing your phone and
but
somebody
I don't
going
want to
through your
send
phone?
nudes to anyone for that reason because
I
what
think
if they lose
there's
their
a
phone?
certain special kind of man
Yeah.
that walks around with dick pics in his phone, and I think
Yeah.
he's sending you the same dick pic he's been sending for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And it probably not even his dick pic.
You think somebody's
This
stealing?
is a point.
stealing-
I believe that.
This
I
is a
believe
point.
that
This
because
is a point.
a guy sent me 2 dick pics
Uh-huh.
and it didn't look like it was him. And I'm just saying, and I have never
So-
seen it in person, but
Would that be dick fishing?
Yes.
Instead of catfishing?
but why though? Because if I ever take you there and you pull your pants and I'm disappointed, I'm gonna say, bruh,
Go get
That
your
was
phone.
not you.
Who is this?
out of line, bro. Out of line.
Well, I just feel like it's.
Are we
men's
well
bo-
over time?
I'm
Where
sorry.
are we, Mike?
I just said men's bodies are so utilitarian. There's nothing pretty about it. Like women's
No, that's
bodies.
not true.
Well, I mean that specific area.
What you
They're just so
mean?
What do you
it's
mean?
like
Oh
an-
man, I've seen some beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Maybe it's just maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me.
There is some beautiful, gorgeous tools out
Tools
there.
down
Really?
out there, yes.
Yes.
Oh, I guess I got ugly.
Yes.
Ain't nobody ever complimented.
I don't know.
I'm sorry,
but I'm
mama, if
telling
you watch.
So anyway, I hope my mother never,
Me too.
my father
Son.
Yeah.
never sees this. And I know my little brother was watching. I hope he's
I know
not
my mama
watching
probably
right now.
watching me. Probably say, "Girl, you so
And
nasty."
then you brought it up.
Well,
Well, I do have a 23-year-old, a 20-year-old,
dick
a
fishing.
15-year-old.
Thank
yeah.
you for bringing that up.
I'm not
Dick
nasty.
Dick
I'm
fishing.
grown.
We're going to make that a topic
That's the
another
thing,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
I know.
that-
It's like, and this
That's
is
the
why
same
you
thing
have a
as
job.
Photoshop.
Exactly.
This is why we need you so bad in the community.
Yeah.
There's brothers out there sending pictures and whatnot.
Look.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you would be
Kathy
amazed.
says
Yeah.
she knows women who request meat mail,
Kitty crib.
but she does not. She knows women,
women
that
that
ask
ask for
it. Yeah.
That would turn me off.
Oh wow.
Well, I've asked
want me to
for a
do
dick
what?
pic, but not from somebody I don't know.
Okay, I got someone. Teddy Griff says grown people should be able to go for it if they're feeling one another, especially if I'm spending a lot of bread. I'm asking.
Okay, fellas, there is no correlation between money and sex. Y'all need to grow up. Stop that. Just because you spend money on a woman doesn't mean that she owes you sex. That's ridiculous. If you ain't got it, then don't spend it. That's
You
how
know,
I
because
feel.
there's a lot of brothers out here that's not spending a dime getting more
That-
sex
Getting
What?
more sex than
They're
than the
brothers
dudes that's
This is
breaking
true.
bread.
They're
I
brothers
mean,
who are
you don't
getting
have to do
fed.
all that. If she feeling you,
Yeah,
is true.
That's true.
she be.
That is very
It's some
true.
females out there that done flip the script.
Yes.
Like I said in the brunch, dudes getting flued out too.
Getting flued out.
You know,
yes,
so
absolutely.
it's the double standards in that area are not the same because it's a lot of men that's looking for the same thing.
Right.
And now these days with the whole independent era, men want, hey, you got to match my hustle.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit at home wife. I mean, for what?
No.
Now when I have women, a plethora of women want to give me the same thing that you going to give me every day, and I can get a new flavor.
And they work.
Yeah.
And they work. They
But
pay
now,
bills.
if I get up and go to work, everybody got to get up and go to work.
Exactly.
Get up, let's
Exactly.
go.
And I don't,
You
me,
wanna work.
I, personally, I don't want a man that don't want me to work.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want him to feel like he has to provide everything for me.
Right.
Like I'm
And
my
I don't
own
wanna
person.
Be vulnerable.
I don't
want
want to be vulnerable like that.
Yeah.
You give a man the chance to feed you. You give him a chance to starve you. So
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
That needs to be on a
Hashtag.
T-shirt right there. That's dope. I like that.
Well, here we are
Yeah.
with another episode of our podcast, Mix and Single. Thank you for joining us. The hard and wet truth. I am absolutely certain that we're going to come back to this conversation again. We have so much more to talk about. And I thank you guys for joining in. Please be on the lookout in the group if you're in the group. Or if you're not in the group, join the group. We're on Facebook, Mix and Single Events. If you're in the group, you need to pay your $50 deposit for our cruise that we're having in September.
yes.
And you also need to check out our Valentine's event that we're having this Thursday with Chefs in the City 713 at Chefs in the City 713. We're doing Love Bites, where we're going to have a nice ambiance at the Sawyer Loft in Houston. And he'll be cooking live, and we'll be having some topics, and we have a surprise guest for you. So please make sure that you're checking out our events calendar, our events tab. We have stuff going on all the time. If you're on on Mix and Single's Instagram, you can see flyers. I post in threes, so you don't miss it. But what else is going on? What else do we have going on?
If you're not in the group, if you're on my live and you're single and you're not in Mix and Singles, you're single, you are wrong.
Look
Go
us up
join
right
the
now.
group.
Go straight
Mix
to
and
Facebook.
We
Single.
have,
Look
as
up
of
Mix-
today, we have 875 members.
That is a lot of single.
And 98% of our members are in Houston, Texas. So come on out. We're planning a barbecue here soon. And we want to, Kathy says she's going to get her a flued out shirt. So we're gonna have a barbecue here soon. I think we're going to do it around about spring break time. And we're actually talking about doing it on the weekend of my birthday, which is March 11th.
All right, turn up is
Hashtag
real.
March 11th. Hashtag T.'s birthday. So just want to make sure that you guys are active in the group. Make sure you're following Onney The CEO, Onney The CEO,
Hey.
and Tony Massey Speaks,
Yes.
TonyMasseySpeaks.
Yes,
Mix and Single on Instagram at Mix and Single. Make sure you log on to our YouTube channel. I've uploaded a couple of videos there. And also make sure you follow our guest today, which is Hearts at UT Health, Adrienne Thomas, and she's on Instagram at UTHearts6, and Grow Into Me with Brittany Sherman, and make sure you're following her. We will see you guys again in 2 weeks, February 25th, and we look forward to meeting you guys here, same single time, same single channel. All right.
All right.
Night-night.
We out.
Night.